My father had attended Culver Creek, the same boarding school to which I was headed, as had both his brothers and all of their kids. I think he liked the idea of me following in his footsteps. My uncles had told me stories of how famous my dad had been on campus for simultaneously having raised hell and aced all his classes. That sounded like a better life than the one I had in Florida. But no, it wasn't because of Dad that I chose to go. Not exactly.
No?
Well, why then?
There was this guy, you see, and his name was Francois Roblet. And his last words were, I have to go seek the great crabs. And that's why I'm going. I don't want to wait until I die before I find the great crabs.
Afghanistan, Albania, Algeria, America, Samoa, Andorra. I could do more, but I'd probably bore you. Something I learned over the summer. God. Alabama in the summer is like watching soybeans grow. What about you? Where are you from?
Florida.
Never been.
It's pretty amazing, the country's thing.
Everybody's got a talent. I memorize things. And you can?
I know people's last words.
Example?
Henry Gibson. He was a playwright. He was sick for a while, and his nurse said to him, "You're looking better this morning." And he said to her, "On the contrary," and then he died.
That's morbid, but I like it. I'm Chip, by the way. People call me the Colonel.
Colonel?
Yeah. We'll call you... Pudge.
Huh?
Pudge, because you're skinny. It's called irony, Pudge. Ever heard of it? Now let's go get some cigarettes and start this year off right.
Oh my god, come in you short man, because I have the best story. So it's the first day of summer and I'm at the old Vine Station with this boy named Justin. And mind you, I'm already seeing Jake. Actually, I'm still seeing him miraculously enough, but Justin is just a friend from when I was a kid. So we're on the couch and literally chatting about the SATs or something, and Justin puts his arm around me. And I think, oh, that's okay. We've been friends for so long and this is totally comfortable. So we're chatting and I'm literally in the middle of a sentence about analogies or something. And like a hawk, he reaches down and he honks my boob. Honk. A much too firm 2 to 3 second honk. And the first thing I thought was, okay, how do I extricate this claw from my boob before it leaves permanent marks? And the second thing I thought was, God, I can't wait to tell Takumi and the Colonel. Who's the guy not laughing at my very funny story?
Alaska, this is Pudge. Pudge memorizes people's last words. Pudge, this is Alaska. She got her boob honked over the summer.
So do you really memorize people's last words?
Yeah, you want to quiz me?
JFK.
That's obvious.
Oh, is it now?
No, those were his last words. Someone said, "Mr. President, you can't say Dallas doesn't love you." And then he said, "That's obvious." And then he got shot.
Oh god, that's awful. Shouldn't be laughing. Okay, Mr. Famous, last words. I have one for you. Gabriel Garcia Marquez, a general in his labyrinth. It's absolutely one of my favorites. But it's a historical novel, so I don't know if it's actually true. But do you know what his last words are? No, you don't. But I'm about to tell you some of your parting remarks. He, that's Simone Bolivar, was shaken by the overwhelming revelation that the headlong race between his misfortunes and his dreams was at that moment reaching the finish line. The rest was darkness. Damn it, he sighed. How will I ever get out of this labyrinth?
So what's the labyrinth?
That's the mystery, isn't it? Is the labyrinth living or dying? Which is he trying to escape? The world? Or the end of it?
I don't know. Have you really read all those books in your room?
Oh, God, no. I've read maybe a third of them, but I'm gonna read them all. Ever since I was little, I've gone to garage sales and bought every book that looked interesting, so that I'd always have something to read. But there's just so much to do. Cigarettes to smoke, sex to have, swings to swing. I'll have more time to read when I'm old and boring. You remind me of the Colonel when we first met. We were just freshmen. A shared interest of booze and mischief brought us together. You're smart like him. Quieter, though. And cuter. But I totally didn't just say that because I love my boyfriend.
Yeah, you're not bad either. But I totally didn't just say that because I love my girlfriend. Oh wait, I don't have a girlfriend.
Yeah, don't worry, Pudge. There's one thing I can get you, it's a girlfriend. So let's make a deal. You find out what the labyrinth is and how to get out of it, and I get you laid.
Deal?
He has no right to condescend us, is all I'm saying. Pudge is tired of staring out the window, and I'm tired of going on tirades about it. He's a terrible teacher, and you couldn't convince me otherwise.
Fine, just don't make another scene. Jesus, man, you nearly killed the poor old bastard.
Seriously, like, you'll never win by crossing Hyde. He'll eat you alive, shit you out, and piss on his own dump. Which we should be doing to whoever ratted out Myra. So, like, does anyone have heard anything?
It must have been some weekday warrior, but apparently they think it was the Colonel, so who knows. Maybe the Eagle just got lucky. She was stupid, she got caught, she got expelled. It's over. That's what happens when you're stupid and you get caught.
Wow, Alaska. If I ever get kicked out, remind me to even score myself. Because surely I can't count on you.
Don't be ridiculous. I don't understand why you're so obsessed with having to figure everything out that happens here. Like we have to unravel every mystery. God, it's over, Takumi. You need to stop stealing other people's problems and get some of your own. Anyway, I thought the way that he treated you was quite awful. I just wanted to cry. I wanted to kiss you and make you feel better.
It's a shame you didn't.
You're adorable. It's too bad I love my boyfriend.
Yeah, Pudge is adorable. We want incorrigible, but Jake is more endurable. Because he's so... Damn! Almost had 4 rounds for adorable. I was gonna go for unfloorable, but that's not even a word.
That made me not mad at you anymore. God, rapping is sexy. Pudge, did you know you're in the presence of the sickest MC in Alabama?
No.
Drop a beat, Colonel Catastrophe. Ramen is old school, like the ancient Romans. The Colonel's beats is sad, like Arthur Miller's Sometimes I'm accused of being a showman. I can rhyme fast or I can rhyme slow, man, like Emily Dickinson. I ain't afraid of slant rhymes. And that's the end of this verse. MC's out on a high.
Why do you smoke so fast?
Y'all smoke to enjoy it. I smoke to die.
I brought you a snack.
Very nutritious.
You got your oats, you got your meal, you got your cream. That's the whole fucking food pyramid.
I can't believe those guys flooded Alaska's room.
Well, they had their reasons. You have to understand, with everybody, even the weekday warriors, Alaska's famous for pranking. Like last year, we snuck a Volkswagen Beetle into the library. So, if they had a reason to one-up her, they will. Although it's pretty ingenious how they got the water from the gutter to her room. I mean, I have to admire it, but...
Yeah, that'll be hard to top.
She'll think of something. You want a cigarette? Let's go for a walk.
The smoking hole?
Not sure if the hole is safe.
Not safe?
Pudge, Alaska ratted out Myra. So the eagle probably knows about the smoking hole too. I don't know. I've never seen him down that way. But whatever she told him, it was pretty messed up. But she said it so she could save herself.
Not to ask the obvious question, but why Alaska?
Always comes up eventually. So when I was little, my mom was kind of a hippie, wearing oversized sweaters that she knit herself, smoking a lot of pot, etc. My dad was a real Republican type. So when I was born, my mom wanted to name me Harmony Springs Young, but my dad wanted to name me Mary Frances Young. But instead of naming me Mary or Harmony, they both agreed to let me decide. So when I was little, they called me Mary. I mean, they called me Sweetie or whatever, but on paper I was Mary. And so on my 7th birthday, it was my present to choose my name. Cool, huh? So I spent the whole day looking at my father's globe for a really cool name. At first I wanted Chad, like the country in Africa, but then my dad said it was a boy's name. So then I chose Alaska.
But why Alaska?
Well, it was later that I found out what it means. An Aleut word, that which breaks against the sea. And I love that. But at the time I just saw Alaska up there. So big, just like I wanted to be. And so far from Fine Station, just like I wanted to be.
And now you're all grown up and fairly far away from home, so congratulations.
Getting out isn't that easy. Like after college, you know what I want to do? Teach disabled kids. I'm a good teacher, right? Shit, if I could teach a pre-calc, I can teach anybody. Like maybe kids with autism. No. Jesus, I'm not going to be one of those people who sits around talking about what they're going to do. I'm just going to do it. Imagining the future is kind of nostalgic.
Sometimes I just don't catch you.
You never get me. That's the whole point.
A list?
Why Pudge should stay at the creek for Thanksgiving. A list by Alaska Young. 1. Because he's a very conscientious student. Pudge has been deprived of many wonderful Culver Creek experiences, including, but not limited to, A. Drinking wine with me in the woods, and B. Getting up early on a Saturday to eat breakfast at innumerable, and then driving through the greater Birmingham area smoking cigarettes and talking about how pathetically boring the greater Birmingham area is, and also C. Going out late at night and lying in the dewy soccer field and reading a Kurt Vonnegut book by moonlight. 2. Although she certainly does not excel at endeavors such as teaching the French language, Madame O'Malley makes a mean stuffing, and she invites all the students who stay on campus to Thanksgiving dinner, which is usually just me and the South Korean exchange student, but whatever. Pudge would be welcome. 3. I don't really have a 3, but 1 and 2 are awfully good.
I'll talk to my parents.
It's a small world, I observed, when you put it in a cemetery. It's not about living or dying, the labyrinth.
So what is it then?
Suffering. About doing wrong things and having wrong things happen to you. That's the problem. Bolivar was talking about the pain. How do you escape the labyrinth of suffering?
What's wrong?
Nothing's wrong, but there's always suffering. Homework or malaria or having a boyfriend who lives far away, even though there's a good-looking boy right next to you. Suffering is universal. It's something Buddhists, Christians, and Muslims all worry about.
Oh, so Dr. Hyde's class isn't total bullshit?
Shh! Don't ruin it.
The plan was simple, really, but it was to be the prank to end all pranks. And it came in 3 steps. 1, I was to replace those goddamn weekday warriors' beloved hair products with industrial strength blue dye, which I may or may not have obtained over Thanksgiving break, and may or may not be strikingly bright and permanent. 2, Pudge and Takumi were to lure the eagle out of his house using a few strands of strategically placed firecrackers. So, 3, the colonel could comfortably enter the eagle's home, access his computer with a pre-discovered password, and send a notice of failure to 1 or 2 of our warrior friends' parents. We experienced undeniable success.
Pudge, my friend, we are indestructible.
Because it narrows down the list of possible suspects to 23. Why couldn't you just follow the plan? Where is everybody?
Well, we haven't been caught yet anyway. Okay, first, tell me everything went all right?
Everything went awesome.
It's time for a freestyle contest. Pudge, you start off. Colonel, drop some beats.
Dude, I can't rap.
It's alright. Colonel can't drop beats either. If you run out of rhymes, just drop it down to me.
Alright. We're sitting by a barn and the sun's going down. I went to Burger King and I wore a crown. I suck at this rhyming shit, so I'll let my boy Takumi rip it.
Damn, Pudge, I'm not sure if I'm quite ready. Like Nightmare on Elm Street's Freddy. I've always got the goods, I'm ripping this shit up. Like last night, I drank some wine, and it was like hiccup, hiccup. The Colonel's beats are sick, like malaria. When I rock the mic, this lady suffer hysteria. I represent Japan as well as Birmingham. In my younger years, I was called the Yellow Man. But I ain't ashamed of my skin color. I neither are countless bitches. They call me a lover.
Oh shit, did you just diss the feminine gender? I'll pummel your ass and stick you in a blender. You think 'cause I like Tori and Annie that I can't rhyme? Well, I got flow like Ghostbusters got slime. You objectify women and it's fucking on. You'll be dead and gone like ancient Babylon.
If my eye offends me, I will pluck it out. I got props for girls like Old Bang got out. Oh shit, now my rhyming getting all whack. I better pick it up and take it back. I drop bombs like Hiroshima, or better yet, Nagasaki. When girls hear me flow, they think I'm Rocky. To represent my homeland, I still drink sake. The kids don't get my rhyming, so sometimes they mock me. My build ain't small, but I wouldn't call it stocky. Then again, unlike Pudge, I'm not super gawky. I'm the fucking fox, and this is my crew. Our freestyles infused with funk like my gym shoes. And we're out.
Best day, worst day.
Huh?
Well, we're all gonna puke if we keep drinking wine. So let's slow it down with a drinking game. Best day, worst day.
Never heard of it.
That's because I just made it up. Everybody tells the story of their best day, and the best storyteller doesn't have to drink. Then we tell the story of our worst day, and the best storyteller doesn't have to drink. And then we keep going, second best day, second worst day, until one of y'all quit.
How do you know it'll be one of us?
Because I'm the best drinker and the best storyteller. You start, Pudge. Best day of your life.
Give me a second to think of one.
Couldn't have been that good if you have to think about it.
Fuck you, dude.
Touchy.
Best day of my life was today. The story is that I woke up in a place far away from my house, had a cup of lukewarm instant coffee and ate Cheers without milk, and walked through the woods with Alaska and Takumi. And then we skipped rocks by the pond, which sounds dumb, but it wasn't. And I ran as fast as I could, and set off fireworks, and did some terrible rapping. And I don't know, just the way the sun is right now, setting, and the shadows kind of bright, but not. And the soft light you get when the sun isn't quite setting, that's the light that makes everything prettier. And today everything just seems to be in that light. I mean, just sitting here, whatever. Great day, today. Best day ever.
That story turned out a lot better than I thought it would be. But I still got you beat.
Bring it on, baby.
The best day was January 9th, 1997. Me and my mom went on a class field trip to the zoo. I liked the bears, she liked the monkeys. Best day. End of story.
That's it? That's the best day of your whole life?
Yep.
Lame. Want to hear my best day?
That's the game, Chip.
The best day of my life hasn't happened yet, but I know it. I see it every day. The best day of my life is the day I buy my mom a huge fucking house. And not just like out in the woods, but in the middle of Mountain Brook, with the Weekday Warriors parents and with y'all's parents. And I'm not buying it with a mortgage either. Buying it with cash money. And I'm driving my mom there, and I'm gonna open the car door, and she'll get out and look at this house. This house with like a picket fence and 2 stories and everything, you know? And I'm gonna hand her the keys to the house, and I'll say, thanks. Man. She helped me fill out my application to this place. She let me come here, and that's no easy thing when you come from where we do. To let your son go away to school. So that's the best day of my life.
Well, shit. I lose. Because the best day of my life was when I lost my virginity. And to think I'm going to tell you that story, you're going to have to get me drunker than this.
Well, you won that round. What's your worst day?
Worst day was when my dad left. He's old, like 70 or some shit now. And he was old when he married my mom, and he still cheated on her. And she caught him, and she got pissed, and so he hit her. And then she kicked him out, and he left. I was here, and my mom called, and she didn't tell me the whole story with the cheating and hitting and everything until later. She just said that he was gone and he wasn't coming back. I haven't seen him since. All that day I kept waiting for him to call me and explain it, but he never did. He never called at all. I at least thought he would say goodbye or something. That was my worst day.
Shit, you got me beat again. My worst day was in 7th grade when Tommy Hewitt pissed on my gym clothes and then the gym teacher said I had to wear my uniform or I'd fail a class. 7th grade gym, right? I mean, there are worse things to fail. But it was a big deal then. I was crying and crying, trying to explain to him that it wasn't fair. And he was just so embarrassing. He just yelled and yelled until I put on these piss-soaked clothes. And that was when I stopped caring what people did. I just never cared anymore about being a loser, or not having friends, or any of that. So I guess it was good for me in a way. But that moment was awful. I mean, imagine me playing volleyball in these piss-soaked clothes. While Tommy Hewitt tells the whole class what he did. That was the worst day.
Worst day of my life? June 9th, year 2000. My grandmother died in Japan. She died in a car accident, and I was supposed to see her 2 days later. I was going to spend the summer with her and my grandfather, but instead I flew over to her funeral. And the only time I really saw her and looked at her, I mean, other than in pictures, was at the funeral. She had a Buddhist funeral, and they cremated her, but before they did, she was this, like, well, it's like Buddhist and a little Shinto, but y'all don't care. Point being that she was on this, like, funeral pyre or whatever, and that's the only time I ever saw her. Before they burned her up. That was the worst day ever.
Well, no clear winner yet. Field is wide open. What about you, buddy?
The day after my mom took me to the zoo, where she liked the monkeys and I liked the bears, it was a Friday. I got home from school, she gave me a hug and said, go to your room so I could do my homework. That way I could watch TV later. I went to my room, she sat at the kitchen table, I guess. And then she started screaming. I ran out and she had fallen over. She was on the floor holding her head and jerking, but I freaked out. I should have called 911, but I just started screaming and crying until she started not moving anymore. I thought maybe she fell asleep and that whatever was hurting her didn't hurt anymore. So I just sat there on the floor with her until my dad came home an hour later. He screamed at me, "Why didn't you call 911?" as he tried to give her CPR, but she was plenty dead by then. Aneurysm. Worst day. I win. You drink.
Your dad blamed you?
Well, not after the first moment, but yeah, how could he not?
But you were a little kid.
Yeah, so I was a little kid. Little kids can dial 911. They do it all the time. Pass me the wine.
Sorry.
Why didn't you ever tell me?
Never came up.
In the long silence that followed as we passed around the wine and slowly became drunker, I found myself thinking about President William McKinley, the third American president to be assassinated. He lived for several days after he was shot, and toward the end, his wife started crying and screaming, "I want to go too! I want to go too!" And with his last measure of strength, McKinley turned to her and spoke his last words, "We're all going."
Pudge isn't even listening to us.
I'm listening.
Well, we were just talking about Truth or Dare. Played out in 7th grade. Are still cool?
Never played it. Had no friends in 7th grade.
Well, that does it. Truth or Dare?
Alright. As long as I don't have to make out with the colonel.
Okay, too drunk.
Truth or Dare, Pudge?
Dare.
Hook up with me. I have to get out of here.
What's wrong?
I forgot. How many times can I fuck up? I have to get out of here. Help me get out of here.
Where do you need to go?
Just please distract the eagle so I can go. Please.
Okay.
Sure.
Alright, just don't turn your lights on. Just drive slow and don't turn your lights on. Are you sure you're okay?
Fuck. Just get rid of the eagle for me. Oh my god. I'm so sorry.
Alright, just start the car when you hear the second string.
We did not say, "Don't drive, you're drunk." We did not say, "We aren't letting you in that car when you're upset." We did not say, "We insist on going with you." We did not say, "This can wait until tomorrow." Anything, everything can wait. We walked to our bathroom, grabbed the 3 strings of leftover firecrackers from under the sink, and ran to the eagles. We weren't sure it would work again, but it worked well enough. The eagle tore out of his house as soon as the first string of firecrackers was popping. He was waiting for us, I suppose. And we headed for the woods and got him in deeply enough that he never heard or drive away. The colonel and I doubled back, wading through the creek to save time, slipped in through the back of the window of room 43, and slept like babies.
Before I got here, I thought for a long time that the way out of the labyrinth was to pretend that it did not exist. To build a small, self-sufficient world in a back corner of the endless maze, to pretend that I was not lost, but home. But that only led to a lonely life, accompanied by only the last words of the already dead. So I came here looking for a great perhaps, for real friends, and a more than minor life. And then I screwed up, and the colonel screwed up, and Takumi screwed up, and she slid through her fingers. And there's no sugarcoating it, she deserved better friends. When she fucked up all those years ago, just a little girl terrified into paralysis, she collapsed into the enigma of herself. And I could have done that, but I saw where it led for her. So I still believe in the great perhaps. And I can believe in it in spite of having lost her. Because I will forget her, yes. That which came together will fall apart imperceptibly slowly, and I will forget. But she will forgive my forgetting. just as I forgive her for forgetting me and the Colonel and everyone but herself and her mom these last moments she spent as a person. I know now that she forgives me and the Colonel for being dumb and scared and doing the dumb scared thing. I know she forgives me just as her mother forgives her. And here's how I know. I thought at first that she was dead, just darkness, just a body being eaten by bugs. I thought about her a lot like that, as something real. What was her brown eyes, half a smirk, the soft curves of her legs, would suit me nothing, just the bones I never saw. I thought about the slow process of becoming bone, then fossil, and then coal that will in millions of years be mined by humans of the future, and how they would heat their homes with her. And then she would be smoke blowing out of the smokestack, coating the atmosphere. I still think that sometimes. Think that maybe the afterlife is just something we made up to ease the pain of loss, to make our time in the labyrinth bearable. Maybe she was just matter, and matter gets recycled. But ultimately, I do not believe that she was only matter. The rest of her must be recycled too. I believe now that we are greater than the sum of our parts. If you take her genetic code and you add her life experiences and the relationships she had with people, and then you take the size and shape of her body, you do not get her. There is something else entirely. There is a part of her greater than the sum of her knowable parts, and that part has to go somewhere because it cannot be destroyed. Although no one will ever accuse me of being much of a science student, one thing I learned from science class is that energy is never created and never destroyed. And if she took her own life, that is the hope I wish I could have given her. Forgetting her mother, failing her mother, her friends, and herself, those are awful things. But she did need to fold her into herself and self-destruct. Those awful things are survivable, because we are as indestructible as we believe ourselves to be. When adults say teenagers think they're invincible, with that sly, stupid smile on their faces, they don't know how right they are. We need never be hopeless, because we can never be irreparably broken. We think that we are invincible because we are. We cannot be born, and we cannot die. Like all energy, we can only change shapes and sizes and manifestations. They forget that when they get old, they get scared of losing and failing. But that part of us is greater than the sum of our parts, cannot begin and cannot end, and so it cannot fail. So I know she forgives me, just as I forgive her. Thomas Edison's last words were, "It's very beautiful over there." I don't know where there is, but I believe it's somewhere, and I hope it's beautiful.